This is the Strathdee Boys podcast, episode 4. We're kicking it today in the Mile End, enjoying the vibes. And our guest today is a friend of ours. He's a multi-genre musician who has spent the majority of his musical career in metalcore bands and was the frontman of a Montreal-based band, Red Skies, which just recently announced their split to pursue their own solo creative endeavors, now making hip-hop under the name Atlas Emery. We're chilling today with our friend Cody Duds.
What's good, buddy?
What's going on?
Good. Thanks for having me.
So, to kind of dive into everything right off the jump, you're making hip-hop music now.
Yeah.
And this is like something that's very new for you.
No.
In terms of releases, do you have anything that's like fully out there as of yet, or are you still like in the cook-up stage and getting everything together?
As far as like solo stuff goes, I have nothing on, but I work with this homie called Crew. We have three tracks. 2 of them are on his SoundCloud. Okay. That's the only like actual hip hop that I have out.
Nice.
But like I'm working on like my own EP. I got a split EP with my homie Sig Sauer, who's another Montreal-based rapper, and then like my homie Crew and I. We've also got like those 3 songs are gonna be on a bigger project.
How'd you like start getting into like hip hop? Like actually like doing hip hop? I'm sure you listened to it like for years, but like actually doing it.
I always like loved hip hop as much as hardcore music, and I never thought I could rap. But like one of my best friends, Johnny, aka Chesh Nebula, he's another Montreal-based rapper who's living in Vancouver that I work with. He turned me on to the hip hop genre of just like back in the day we'd be chilling at parties and I could like beatbox and shit. Yeah. So I would beatbox and he would rap. Just like freestyles, and then eventually like I started trying the freestyles out, and like because we were always writers, we went to like school together for writing and all this type of stuff. So
how long would you say you've been like freestyling?
Like close to 4 years.
Okay.
So that's how I started. I was just freestyling. And people at parties would be like, "Yo, you guys are pretty good." So we're like, "Oh, that's cool." And
I actually remember like we were at that Steven guy's party. And
we freestyled. Exactly.
You were good back then too, and that's that was almost 5 years ago. So you were really just kind of starting out.
Yeah. So it was like that kind of like is what got me into like just recording hip hop, because then like I linked up again with my homie Sig Sauer, who's working with our homie Brad, this producer 6 Moons. And once like I got a studio to work with, I was like, oh, let's try some like recorded tracks. And we just put together some beats, and just like ever since then I've just been going hard.
Yeah. Especially too like with Red Skies and Viridian Cityscape and 4 Feet and Fur, you were like used to the actual studio life. So
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, this is
probably very different though.
Yeah, what's the transition been like from doing that music for most of your life to getting into something that's like it's on your own time? Because when you're doing things in a band, you gotta sync up with everyone's schedules. You gotta make sure everything is a lot more on schedule and get everything together. But when you're doing something solo, it's almost like you're free to do whatever you want. So what's the transition been like in terms of how everything's been to deal with?
I like kind of like the hip hop studio sessions a bit more, I would say, maybe because it's still so fresh. It's like different than when we were in a metal band. There's a lot more pressure to get things done because you allot a certain amount of time. Yeah, of
course. You gotta get all the instruments down. Everyone has to show up and like be like on point.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're a solo artist, like doing like in a rap session, it's a bit more laid back.
Yeah.
You kind of
to rely less on other people.
Exactly.
Which is,
like a lot of time you're like sitting around waiting for your band to record and stuff, and you got to be there for the full process.
Last when you do.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas with hip hop, it's like it's like once the
you can spend like a full day just on drums and a full day on the guitar, and you got to be there for the whole process, or else.
And the issue like with screaming versus rapping is like screaming, I have to like really rely heavily on like taking care of my voice and like there's a lot of pressure revolved around getting it to sound perfect, whereas with like just with rapping and stuff, it's a bit different. It's not as much of a pressure in that sense. But
definitely,
I think one of the bigger challenges though was just like getting used to recording like clean vocals. Like that transition was way harder because I always found that I would approach the microphone and scream at it back in the day. So
it's definitely a fully different environment and energy and approach,
No doubt.
And in a way too, it's like with like screaming and stuff, like you're saying one word, like
stretching it out,
right? And like you have to like, especially with your style of rap, you're saying so much in such a short amount of time.
Was it easy to make that adjustment, or was it kind of like did it like kind of psych you out at first?
At first, it was a confidence issue for sure. I had like a bit of issues, just like with hearing my clean voice on record and being like, okay, like trying to find that voice, it definitely took like a year for me to get like comfortable with rapping into the mic instead of screaming and all that. But now it's just like, you know, now it just feels like
because it's a total 360 when you're doing like scream vocals and opposed to like the music you're making now, like comparing the two, people might not even know that's you, you know?
Yeah, that's
like you're giving a whole new side of your voice to people that they didn't even know existed, you know, when you're on record doing hip hop opposed to going in on the mic like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So how long was the hip hop stuff behind the curtain? How long were you like working on songs and actually preparing to launch it before you made it public?
It's been like 3 years now. I've been like under.
So you were working on all this stuff while you were like playing gigs in your bands and.
Yeah, it was more of like a for fun project at first, and then like unfortunately, like, you know, my band had to split, you know, just for like life reasons, you know. It is what it is. Like people, you know, some of them went back to school and this and that, so I couldn't quite rely on each other as much anymore. So then, like, once that started to become more present in reality, I started like hitting the studio way harder and being like, okay, I think I'm gonna
actually release and get
like
it going.
pursue this as something, because it's also just like we were saying before, it's so much easier to like produce a lot more content based on the fact that you have to rely on less people, right? So just
exactly.
Section out a day every week to just go hit the studio and try and get whatever we can done.
And you could do it on your own too, like no problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the process of like.
But at least you're like hitting the studio. Like you're not just doing it in your room. You know, you can always get ideas down in your room, like you do with your videos and stuff. But at least you have like a studio you can go to.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like my homie Six Moons has a dope studio where he's at. So like we go like at least once a week and we chill. Like we record from like 8 to 3 in the morning.
A lot easier to like organize things when you're one or two people than like a whole band. You know, and you have to bring all that gear. And
Exactly. I'm so happy you don't have to carry.
That's definitely good stuff.
Having to carry heavy ass gear, like that's like, and I'm like the vocalist in the bands, right? So they're always like, "Yo, you gotta help. You can't just play the vocalist.
You just pick up your mic with the cord. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, like, yo,
I got my shit covered.
The venue provides it for the most part too, right? So
shout out to night sessions. I'm always like personally too for my shit. I'm always recording at night. I almost in the daytime. I'm like, I just don't get it down.
Dude, trust. I'm
like,
the same way.
Well, I mean,
it's a vibe.
Maybe like if you have it like kind of like dim light and looking like it's the night, maybe it's a bit different, right? So
there's just something about the evening for me. Always like I'm just like one of those people.
I think we're all night people.
When the creative juices are flowing.
I just stay up till like 3 or 4 in the morning every night, like regardless of what I'm doing. And I always found the nighttime, especially I like to, you know, get a little wavy while I record.
Of course,
have a few beers, you smoke some joints.
Set the tone.
Well, they say like creative people usually stay up later.
That's it. So as I go to the studio around 8 and we like crack open the beers. And
the first hour or two is just listen to beats chopping it up.
We listen to what we did last time.
Exactly.
You never really just jump right into the booth. Never. It's always a couple hours.
We ease into it always, and even then, like the first like attempt is always a scratch, right? Like, I could do that better. But I just find like, you know, on a vibe with a couple of beers in my system, like really like loosens me up more as like a rapper and stuff.
Yeah, the same thing with me. Like I have a few drinks. I can't smoke though. If I smoke, it's a wrap.
We have like a vape. We like hit the vape instead. We don't really smoke joints as often, so I hit this like vape. So it's like you get that vape high instead. So
especially with the type of rap you do, it's like I think you could be high doing it.
It's like
kind of like thinking rap, you know. With his stuff, it's a bit different. He's got to like really like sing things or
we got notes
set
out to hit.
He kind of gets dumbified sometimes when he
smoking.
But I've been there, for sure. Sometimes it's like, oh my god, we've recorded at like 3 in the morning before after being like a little too wavy, and now I'll listen to that shit the next day and be like, don't ever show anybody. I'm like, that's just bait.
Those sessions
you're your own worst critic, right?
That's it. But you know, I like to say when you section off parts of the song to like talk shit, quote unquote, not actually like talk shit on people, but you just say like, yo. You just end up saying stupid shit on the microphone. I'm like, yo, don't ever show anybody.
What style of rap would you say that you're doing right now? Like,
I like my main influence is definitely like kind of like boom bap, like East Coast hip hop, like, but I guess with kind of like a bit of a psychedelic flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of the beats that we do kind of like are inspired by projects more like Gorillaz.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Stuff like that. So it's kind of, you know, not necessarily like hip hop beats you would hear like in on like a modern setting or whatever, but that's kind of like what we go for, is really kind of like that psychedelic feel, but with like a East Coast boom bap vibe.
Your own flavor to it.
Recently, we've been doing some like more like trap beats and shit, because like I know that's what's popular, and I do enjoy that style of music, and like sometimes it's good to like get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to have range. Yeah. And experiment and really find your sound, right?
Straight up. But I guess like my main influence would be like kind of like Joey Badass. You know, he's keeping that like kind of standard like East Coast, New York City boom bap style hip hop, and I like to do that, but with my own influences. That's it. You know, etched into it, and a little bit of kind of there's almost like a bit of like a punk rock vibe sometimes, like Death Grip style, like that comes along with the music we're making.
Yeah, that guy's fucking. He's intense. Remember I showed you?
Who's that?
Remember I was like trying to figure out who it was for the longest time.
Okay, yeah.
And then I showed it to you, and he's got like that video where he's in the car or something.
Yeah, he's got some crazy vocals. And that's what pulls you into it. It's it's nothing you've ever seen or heard.
So it's like that's the style. We're kind of just trying to like fuck around with it. Like we've found our sound more often. But the thing is, like when I work with my homie Crew, he like typically finds beats from the internet and just from like different types of producers and stuff. And those are more like standard modern hip hop beats, some like more trap and some like, you know, kind of like Kendrick Lamar style stuff. So when I work with that guy, like we try something different. Like what I really like about working with my friend Crew is that like he opens new doors, and like he does a lot of like sing-songy hooks and stuff. Cool, so it kind of like allows me to like do a more like contemporary style of music.
Are you more into like doing like a solo project, or like do you want to maybe like get like a little rap crew going, or you like release projects kind of like Suicide Boys or something like that?
I do have like Miscellaneum is like the movement that I'm trying to do with my homies, because I have a lot of like talented friends, and we're all like have like a lot of drive and stuff. Like this homie of mine, Sui Generous, is like a beat maker as well, and he provides me a lot with beats. And we got 6 Moons, and we got 6 Sour, and we got fucking Chesh Nebula, and we got like my homie Crooks, like all types of people. So I'm really trying to like compile like kind of like relative to like that Beast Coast era, you know, with like Pro Era and like the Underachievers and Flatbush Zombies, like that psychedelic like definitely. East Coast hip hop. Like that's really the kind of like way we're trying to go. Like recently we recorded like a multi-rapper track, and it's like 6 of us on it. It's like an 8
nice song, big posse cut.
Yes.
I love those.
Like kind of like that like Odd Future, like early Odd Future, like shit like that, you know.
That's
like,
cool,
you know, he's like more like punk rock inspired groups of people who come together just because they fucking love hip hop.
What's that one Odd Future song where they just did like the spontaneous video with Frank Ocean on there too?
Yeah,
he spits bars.
Rent a super car for a day.
Yeah, that was a really good video. And it was like it's just them. They were supposed to show up to do a photo shoot.
Yeah, with Terry Richards.
Obviously, asking all of them to pay attention and like follow the rules is not going to happen. And they literally just like started like telling the photo shoot people like just shoot, roll film, and we're gonna put one of our fucking songs on. Yeah. Like a few of the people like half-assed forgot their verses and were just like going with it, but it turned out to be one of the most like viral videos.
I love that.
It was
video.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's just like, no, fuck you. You keep filming.
And something that's rare. You got to like hear Frank Ocean like spit bars. Yeah, because he did a full-on rap verse.
Yeah,
so that was crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like crews like that, like I mentioned, like Pro Air and Flatbush and Underachievers, Odd Future. Like it's kind of just like a bunch of homies who get together for the love of music.
Do you find like when you guys are together, like making music, like your personal style changes, or like you adapt more to like a group dynamic, or is it like really just like your style all the time? Like
yeah, when I make my own solo shit, it's definitely like a lot of my inspiration comes from like a darker place, I find. Yeah. So when I try to rap with the homies, like more in like a crew kind of thing, I try to just write, you know, cool stuff.
So it's more laid back content that's not like it can be more light subject matter.
Like I might interject like some like, you know, deeper methods, but when I make my solo EP that's coming out, it definitely comes from like a darker place. Like more like, you know.
Who are you like listening to mostly right now?
Right now, like I'm fucking hard with Joey Badass. Yeah. Like especially after like, cause when he came out Before the Money, that's like the first full length he did. Like that shit banged so hard. And I was like, wow, how's he gonna top that? And he came out All American Badass recently, and like I went to go see him live, and it was crazy dope. I would like always fuck with Kendrick and Danny Brown and like Death Grips and shit like that. And
it's funny because like with like the type of music you used to do and stuff, it really does translate over. Like the shows, like the rap shows nowadays are more like hardcore shows.
Very
back
much,
in the day.
Mosh
you got like
pits,
mosh pits and stage diving, crowd surfing. Like it's pretty crazy. Like,
I really like that kind of era of like of more modern hip hop because it does have like a relative influence to what we used to do back in the day. Because when you think about it, like hardcore music and hip hop music were like cultivated like in a lot of the same areas, like specifically like in New York City when a lot of shit was going on. It's just a reaction to what's going on. So those two genres have always been like hand in hand in ways. Like you look at like back in the like BC Boys and shit, and like BC Boys are like, you know, inspiration like Eminem, who kind of opened doors for like different type, you know, different stuff like that. So when I think about these two types of music, like they're so relative in so many ways that I think it's really cool that it's coming back.
Yeah, that's it. Have you ever thought of like incorporating like both styles of music?
Oh yeah,
like a bit of like screaming in your rap?
Yeah, we do some shit like that.
Yeah,
we recorded like to hear a really that. Heavy like kind of like doomy like trap Suicide Boy style track the other day, and like so at the end it has this like trap breakdown, so I'm gonna scream over it.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick for sure.
Yeah, well that's dope.
Because you know, like when I found out you were doing rap and stuff, like I actually kind of expected that. Because like you're a demonic screamer. Like, you got like that high pitch, bro. Like
I definitely don't want to like forget the roots. So
yeah, that's
sure
it, man.
Throw it in.
Do you still listen to like a lot of that type of music?
Oh
still?
Yeah.
Like is that like equal to the amount of rap you listen to?
No, I like almost like exclusively listen to hip hop.
Yeah, me too. I used to be like so into that scene,
but I love hardcore music. You know, more like I used to fuck with like metalcore a lot more, but now it's more like back to the roots hardcore shit.
Okay,
you know, like a lot of like those bands,
like who exactly?
Like Stray from the Path, and, like Turnstile.
Parkway Drive.
Well, you know, I was so much Parkway Drive anymore because they made like this one like really shitty album in my opinion, and I stopped fucking with them because they went like really like over the top mainstream style music with like this weird singing shit on it.
But I notice a lot of bands do that because I feel with hip hop artists, they're pushing out content so much. With bands, they'll put like a run of projects out, then they'll really go away for a while, and they'll come back like 5+ years later, and it's just like you don't even kind of recognize what's going on anymore. Yeah, and that's been the subject and the result of so many bands who have done that. It's crazy.
And sometimes it works, and then sometimes it just doesn't work. You know? Like, there's like some bands who came back with like a newer sound that ended up being good. But like Parkway Drive is a band that I used to love and appreciate so much. Yeah, and they came out with this one album. I was like, what is going on?
I hate to say it though, but like a lot of those bands, like in order to stay current and stay kind of like on the scene, they had to like change and stuff.
Unfortunately,
definitely most of them did not change for the best. One band that I can say did change and like kind of still stayed true to their roots is like Alexis on Fire. Yeah. Sure. That's like one band I'd still go see them.
Yeah, I still fuck with Alexis on Fire.
They're so sick.
I actually only saw them for the first time like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it was so hype.
Actually, no, it was a while ago.
So it's dope.
One time I saw them and we were at Warped Tour, and it was like a pretty nice day, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, George just screamed, "Let the sky open, let the rain fall," and like literally 30 seconds later started fucking torrential downpour. Dude, it was nuts.
People I remember that
mudsliding and everything.
Yeah, I was like dip because like I was so cold. Yeah, and my cell phone broke and all this shit. Like that was so.
Warped Tour is done in Montreal now, huh?
They don't visit here anymore. For a few years,
which is weird because it was always pretty big.
Yeah, it's just like an organization issue. Right? Jean Trapeau has been going through like lots of shit like that with festivals.
Montreal has a lot of problems with even a lot of artists like they skip out on Montreal. Like the original tour dates for Kendrick's tour didn't have Montreal. Then they figured things out and had to get a date put on. But it's like
and even Travis Scott's not coming.
Yeah, it's two other
it really bums me out.
And Dram.
I'm huge with Travis Scott. Like I love Travis Scott. He's probably one of my I'd say. Like,
I'm not like overly familiar with his music, but I've watched videos where he's performing and he definitely like brings the ruckus.
He's got like a rodeo.
I think right now in terms of like he probably has like the most rock star show. Yeah. Like I would say just everything with his attitude, like the mosh pits. Yeah. He tells like fans to like rush over the barricades, tells them to like disregard security. Like he does some pretty crazy shit. Yeah. He got arrested recently.
Oh really?
For causing a riot where people got injured because he literally it's pretty much him versus the security every show. There's so many videos.
He kicked the security guard out of his show.
Oh,
because he's like, don't ever fucking touch my fans.
Oh shit.
He gave him shit.
That's respect though.
Or he roasted like the DJ in Montreal too. Because
New City Gas DJ.
Dropping that. He
was like trying to perform his shit and like the DJ kept dropping like bombs and shit over stuff. Like was clearly fucking up with the controllers.
So
it was nuts.
When did you start making music like completely?
Like
Yeah,
hip hop?
Yeah, because you're
not
band
hip hop, like
Oh.
just
your
in
band
general.
stuff goes pretty like.
How
far
old
back.
were you? You're
14.
pretty young, yeah.
14.
Yeah,
so.
I recorded my first EP when I was like 15 years old, but like I played my first show like I only played my first show when I was 16, but I've been making like music since I was
Do you play
14.
instruments though?
I mean, I do play like drums and guitar and bass and all types of percussive instruments and shit like that. But I'm definitely like a vocalist. Like,
How did you get into screaming? Like,
because I didn't know how to sing.
okay, so
like,
you wanted to be
really
like
wanted to be a vocalist,
yeah.
but I didn't know how to sing.
you wanted to be a front man. for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Because I was just kind of like, I don't know, I guess especially from a young age, just kind of like that attention or whatever. And I always loved the music. And I remember my friends and I would like, we would just like hold the instruments. Like my friend was a dope drummer, and we would just like hold instruments and like lip sync to like our favorite bands.
Who's that? Mikey?
No, this was
different
Gabe Dennis. I don't know if you
Okay,
remember
no,
him.
I
He was
remember.
in that band Kid Icarus that I was in for a bit. That was like some. While I was in Viridian City, I was in that band with him. But yeah, we used to just like do shit like that. So that was. It's been like almost 12 years. I've been like
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
writing and
How'd you get
performing.
into like screaming though? Like mostly like.
My friend Johnny, like the guy who inspired me to rap, actually was the first person in the group of friends to learn how to scream. So like I was always looking at him. We were like 14 at the time. He was already playing shows. So I was like, fuck, like I want to get on that. So I'm like I kind of just like slowly like learned how to do it. And then only by the time I was 16 did I like really like learn how
You
to
got
do
like
it.
a very like intense range, dude. Have you heard him scream before? No way. You know, I remember when I met you, dude. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I see him go on stage. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a demon. Like,
Yeah, people always used to say like, yo, I can't believe that's you.
So doing scream vocals.
and you were
that's
like a
something-
really small guy too, man.
Yeah.
Is that something that can be like worked on and or do you have to have it?
I
Because
think
it seems like not everyone can just do that.
Yeah.
Like because it gets pretty intense. Like
it
you
is
can't-
hard to learn. You kind of just have to like trick your body into like figuring it out. Like I know that people have like pointers and
You just gotta hit. It's just
yeah.
you gotta be repetitive and keep going. And
Yeah,
going.
like just keep trying until it works. Because if you're like fucking with, if your throat's getting like fucked up by it, then you know it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
right?
man.
So
So many people in that like music scene have like fucked their throat up big time.
yeah, so
They
you
get
really wanna-
operations.
Especially when
and
you're
they get-
touring,
they get-
like when you're playing consistent
yeah, like
amount of
every
shows.
day.
It's
so
like I
harsh.
don't even know how like
Yeah.
one would get through that.
You can get nodes on your vocal cords.
Yeah, it's intense.
It's like they're like kind of like polyps, like little
Yeah, like
pimples
those white
almost.
kind
You
of-
ever had
yeah.
any vocal issues or?
Nah, luckily I never had that shit happen to me, which I'm glad because
Yeah.
like if I can't be a vocalist, then like it really puts a
Yeah, dude. Like
you know,
music
it's-
is definitely your like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
thing, man. Like,
what's what I want to do 100%. Like I'll never. It's the one thing I'll never give up on.
well, you still have like a pretty big fan base from like your times with like Red Skies and stuff, and like
Yeah.
you know what's crazy? It translates over.
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
have
the people who like
support
that
it,
type
for
of
sure.
music,
Yeah,
like
I see.
hip-hop
I
now.
seen with like a lot of the videos, like just the free verse videos you'll post. A lot of the people who became fans of like Red Skies and the other
Yeah.
stuff you're doing, like they carried over. Like
Yeah.
no one's jumping ship on you and like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't
Yeah.
fuck with that. So it seems like
I'm
a
sure
lot
you've
of your
had some
supporters.
people though who are like.
It seems like a lot of
Yeah.
your supporters who were listening to Red Skies and the other bands were actually hip hop fans as well.
Oh, for
you know?
sure. I think like nowadays it's kind of hard not to be a hip hop fan. Hip hop's like
I find,
the
like,
new rock and
music,
roll.
though, is, like-
Exactly, it's like the leading genre. It's
Music
actually-
kind of has like eras, like really like there was hardcore and everybody was hardcore. Like
Yeah.
so many people were hardcore, and then like
Yeah.
and then like hip hop music, like people like Drake kind of like started
Yeah.
bringing people over slowly, and then.
Well, hip hop, yeah.
But I remember
took
when I
over.
was younger, it was like hip hop and then pop. You know, those were like
Yeah.
the two things. You could either be into either one.
It was more separated back then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
it's
like there's a
But
lot of.
it's
fusion.
really like eras. Like I find like anybody who says they love music, they'll usually change their musical style. Like,
Yeah.
what they're into, they will adapt.
I think
Those
it's
people
fun
who
to
are
do
just
that
stuck
too,
in
right?
like one genre.
Yeah, like elitist.
They don't really know
Yeah.
A
as
perfect
much about
example, like in terms of how these genres have blended. Like 5-10 years ago, a Suicide Boys kind of group would be looked at like
Yeah,
Q
like
and-
what?
Well, they were kind of like.
they definitely got some looks, but now it's
what
like
was
more
that band
accepted.
there with the Brie?
Oh yeah.
They're like basically like that.
Yeah.
What was their fucking name?
I forget.
So long
Broken
ago.
Side.
Broken Side, yeah. Broken Side was like very much like the Suicide Boys.
Yeah, they were like the
hardcore.
first ones to try
And they were
like the
like,
whole
Yeah.
fuck,
fusion.
pigs
It was
were-
like nowhere near as good as Suicide Boys.
And
are,
like
but
they had
definitely-
like some buzz, but
Yeah.
mostly a lot of hate.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
mostly hate.
Yeah, but it's to be expected in
Yeah.
this like in that genre of music. There's like a lot
Yeah.
of
How do you feel about like metal bands that like have like hip hop like vocals in it? Like Hollywood Undead, those kind of guys, like they do that kind of shit. Some people don't like that stuff. I don't think it's corny. Like,
but you're always gonna have people.
It can be done tastefully though. There's this one band from the UK. They were like, it's like this gent band, like really bouncy, like kind of like 8-string, like heavy shit. But it was rappers only over it, and it was pretty cool. Then you have like Puya just recently, like we were talking about earlier, like Puya and Volumes did a track together. So. And then Suicide Boys, also they do screaming on their shit, right? So it's quite cool to see those genres like fusing.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think that there's too many like metal bands that have like made a career out of like the rap metal genre, at least in recent years.
Suicide Boys must have been playing in bands before.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
before they were doing
the guy with the long hair in the band, like the really long hair, he was in a few.
Yeah, because he screams on some of the tracks. But same with Ghost Main, like another guy they fuck with. Like he used to be in like metal bands and shit. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So they can.
And then the guy with like the deeper voice in Suicide Boys, he was always into hip hop and producing.
Yeah, so it's pretty dope.
And that's what's dope with you. You can bring those vibes from the other genres into what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's cool to like.
Actually, you know what we should do right now? We should show them one of your songs.
Yeah.
Or actually, no. Yeah. What song would you like to like kind of
like hip hop or metal?
I would say hip hop.
Let's give me some of the new vibes.
Tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll show it.
Yeah, I've got this one song that I shot a video for like a few months ago with 6 Hour on it. It's called Cake and Cigarettes, and that's like probably like the first song that I made that I was like, okay, I think we're like doing something here.
Cool, man.
So that video we shot like just before I left for my trip to Vancouver.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out his new song.
Here we go.
Atlas Emery. What's the name of the song?
Cake and Cigarettes.
Cake and Cigarettes. Here it is, guys.
That was my shoe. I think so. No. No. It's all good though. What's good? What's good? 666. Yeah. Alright, go.
This goes out to every musician in the scene, hitting keys till the digits bleed, then playing more. Frigid veins, change living space, self-reliant diamond in the rough was buried there so no one else will find it. Long sob stories, God bores me, have the devil crying, seldom smiling, with breath reeking the gutter. Water habits from my father's bum, went off some rum and vodka. Watch your tongue and be cautious, son. We spot the Dutch and bum it off ya. Pop however many gets to dulling up my senses. This hollow script bottle match the color of my lenses. You want a vision and a strip of blotter paper nestled in the mouth of madness while I pick the locks of neighbors. I was broke to the degree. What the fuck is luxury? There's nothing to lose, maybe other than a couple teeth. Outer stillness with some inner calamity, grinning while the mirror figure is swinging his axe at me. Emerge from a coffin and saunter in the mist. Failure not an option and haunted vision stick. Wilhelm screaming vain as optimism shifts from the top of our lungs to the bottom of a fifth. Emerge from a coffin and saunter in the mist. Failure not an option and haunted vision stick. Wilhelm screaming vain as optimism shifts from the top of our lungs to the bottom of a fifth.
Can't think of a day when I didn't fall asleep wasted. My mind racing, pacing, linked to my fucking impatient. Crashing in a rational tragedy, mania accident. Karma collecting, it's just this fucked up mindset. Depression linked in upsets. Stress triggers vicious process. Wake up pissed and raging offset. But when the dust settles from Kush clouds, my sound is what I'm about. Without music I'd be out, no doubt. This world is giving up on itself, so why the fuck should I care? I'm looking for an answer, I'm unbalanced, howling at moving candles, surrounded by a crippling sense of fucking self-doubt. Will I care when they know me? Atlas Emery, the homie, the perfect person you think because I can rhyme on a sick beat. Well, fuck that, I am more, but my conscience settles score. Guilt tripping, heavy force, called the raven, nevermore. More. Called the raven, nevermore. More. encounter in the mist. Failure not an option and haunted visions stick. Wilhelm scream in vain as optimism shifts from the top of our lungs to the bottom of a fifth.
Blue plasma, first page of a new chapter. 40-20 somethings, vodka in the fruit platter. Liver half demolished from a gin and catatonic. Paint the room a shade of puke as I spin and have to vomit. My mind on autopilot, but get labeled as profound. Scan the venue for a dominatrix in the crowd. Except she won't breathe till I say that it's allowed. And find her dignity 6 months later in the couch. Oh, her man overboard like she lost at sea. Blowing kisses, my response will read moi aussi. Why bother trying to sleep? I stay up all night with the women that reside in my dreams. I am overkill personified, a rare breed of scum. No care for air in these wear and tear bleeding lungs. Flickering light in the attic but nobody home. Answering the call of the void in a motionless tone.
Cold, irreversible damage to my brain. Search out my fucking eyeballs for a universal window pane. Seeing what we don't see, universe in 4D. Dimensions only perceived off a hit of LSD. But don't call me a criminal, I am human subliminal. Messages from aliens at the top of pyramids. A hero in villain skin, crimson like a cartoon chin. Top up my beverage with the hidden liquid Rufalini. Looped again, mesh in transit system. Gems, germs like cells from research stems or chems. I forget, lie to tech, mind reset. Higher than 6 Ritalin, I am giving in. Temptations of the younger kin, get me out of the skin.
Alright, so that was a little first look and premiere of a song called Cake and Cigarettes. Of course, followed up with the visual there. That'll be dropping in the near future.
Yeah.
So make sure to look out for that. And
sneak preview. Remember where you saw it first, Strathdee Boys?
And we'll definitely update with a link on our socials so you can follow up with that and check it out. So you took a trip to BC.
Yeah.
Recently. You were there for 3 months. We were talking off camera about that a bit. Let the people know what you're doing out there.
Yeah, well, it's like my homie Johnny, aka Chesh Nebula, the guy who like really got me into the rap. Like we were talking about before with the freestyles and stuff, he moved to Vancouver to pursue like a career in the film industry, and he's like a casting director, and he works at a really cool studio and whatnot over there. So I was like, he kept coming home to visit, and I was like, dude, I'll come over there, but we'll make like a whole thing out of it, you know. And I felt like if I went and I moved in with him, you know, we would get on a good creative level, because he and we went to school for film together and all this, so we've had experience making little short films and this and that. So I was like, yo, let's try this out. So I went and we explored a bunch. I had a classic vacation where I went around and stuff, and then there was like this 2-week period where we were writing, and then we just like really got into it and shot 2 videos for these 2 songs that we tracked. They're called To Question and All Knowledge. So it's kind of like this little like quick demo he and I are gonna release together eventually. They're still in production, but I mean the videos themselves are pretty well finished. So I'm pretty proud, because that the equipment we had access to and whatnot, because of a lot of his friends and colleagues over there, we had like some great lighting equipment and a cool like.
What were you shooting on, like a DSLR? Or?
I'm not sure of the camera what it was exactly. It was like a pretty quality thing, but it's just more like the lighting equipment we had, the projector.
And, definitely projection mapping.
Yeah. You're able to like really put something together and get the most out of it. Yeah,
exactly. So it was cool. I was really happy that I went there and got to shoot 2 like very quality music videos. With that, I think really like the type of music that he and I made is definitely a defining moment in the sound that I'm going for. Like we were speaking about earlier, that kind of like psychedelic inspired hip hop. He and I, when we get together, it's very much kind of got that sort of like, Underachievers, Flatbush Zombies, like trippy hip hop stuff. So
do you find like the change of scenery and kind of atmosphere of the whole like trip really influence your music?
Definitely, it was really inspiring, because especially when I went over there there was days where we didn't really have anything to do because in BC it rains a lot and shit. So there'd be points where I was just like, fuck, I'm bored. So it was like, I guess I'll write. And that's when I started like making those like Instagram videos where I'd like write a verse and then spit it in front of the camera just to like. That's the first time I really like released anything that had to do with my hip hop.
And
that's how you introduced it too. That's how you introduced your
people really
hip-hop
fucked with it.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked on that because it's it's something I've been working on for a while. I just wasn't sure when I would let people know that this is something I'm doing.
Especially, it's probably harder for you too, seeing as you switch like musical styles, and like a lot of people that you probably have on Facebook and just fans in general really are probably like, what the fuck is it? What's going on?
Yeah, that's it.
What happened? How did that happen? He's like a demon and now he's a philosopher. Like.
Yeah, that's it. So the level there was there's definitely like a comfort level with like when and where I'd want to start letting people know that I was doing this. And then when I went there, it really allowed me to take time to practice and hone my skills. Because just before I left, like we did that video for Cake and Cigarettes, and that was like really when my confidence started to shoot off in the realm of hip hop. So with Chech, like over there, it was dope because the dynamic just worked, and we got into some good writing, and we did some cool stuff, and it was just like a really like prosperous environment to be in.
Definitely.
And the fact that like we went to school together for film and shit like really helped because he's great behind the camera, but he's also like an incredible rapper and shit like that. So
nice. Those
videos, like we were saying, they're still in production, but they should be done like relatively soon. And then once I have those two, it's like after Cake and Cigarettes is like going to be a slow.
Yeah, we're gonna give you guys a little sneak peek.
Yeah, that's after. It. The visuals are like almost all done, so we can definitely like give people a little taste for that.
For sure.
A lot of the editing techniques too are like some new forms that Chech and I like looked into, and there's a lot of cool new stuff that we tried. So it really opened up a whole other.
Yeah, it's nice when you have like a studio and you can just go in there and really experiment with things.
Like have all these toys that we can't afford. That people were kind enough to let us use. That's and stuff crazy. Like that. So it was great. And aside from that, it was just like an uplifting trip because I just went away almost to like it was like very rehabilitating in a sense.
Sometimes you gotta get on the road to get an inspiration.
Exactly. You feel stuck sometimes, right? Yep. Given real life and whatnot. Like,
do you have any like funny, crazy stories that like things that happened while you're out there?
When we were there, actually we were gonna go and just explore like and do some hiking one day, and then like we kind of like fell asleep in the car, and we woke up and our friend had just driven us to Whistler. He's like, yo, you guys want to snowboard Whistler? I was like, alright, why not? But like Johnny had never snowboarded before, and like to start a fucking Whistler, we go all the way up. It was so jokes, like and like we just got like mad stones. We're just like, oh fuck, wait, I'm on top of this.
That's not a good thing to do when you
first time snowboarding stone at a spot like that. What a first time.
And we were so ill prepared. Like we had, like I know how to snowboard, so for me it wasn't so bad. But we didn't have gloves or hats or anything. I had like a spring jacket on. Like it just kind of like worked out like that. Trip. Yeah, and we went to go.
Woke up there. Well, that's crazy.
That's life experience, right? You gotta do weird shit sometimes.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we went up. We saw Absol when we were in Vancouver as well, which is
the art scene is crazy in BC,
met a lot of cool artists. Vancouver is a very interesting city. It's just like expensive to live there.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, by proxy, you end up meeting like a lot of successful people because a lot of people who live there are quite successful, right? So a lot of cool artists. Like,
you meet anybody like crazy, like?
I mean, not like firsthand, but I met people who knew some, some cool people, but like not like anything like that directly affected.
Do you want to go back like and live there for a while again, or you got your fill for now?
I'll definitely go back because like Johnny's my best friend.
Yeah, so, just to like visit.
It feels like weird not.
There's always the open door to go back.
Do you ever like think about actually moving there, like permanently?
I'm not really sure.
Nothing's permanent, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love Montreal.
Yeah,
like it'll always be my home, at least for like whatever I have planned right now. I'm gonna be living here for a while. Yeah. I would probably go back like every so often though, like to make more music and videos and shit. It's just cool to know I have the option, and like it's always just fun to like kick it with my homie and stuff like that. Sure. So, but it's cool. Just the nature there is like insane. Like Quebec, we have like definitely like some nice nature, but it doesn't extend to Montreal as much, right? Whereas when you're in Vancouver, it's like you're surrounded by mountains, despite being in a city and shit. and it's like really, really beautiful. And if you drive out like an hour, you're in like Squamish, and if you go a little further, you're in Whistler and stuff. And these places are like, I can't even believe that they're in Canada and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like we went out to like Tofino and Ucluelet, like about a 4-hour drive, with like a 2-hour ferry ride and stuff. And there's like a rainforest. You're just like exploring through this rainforest, and I'm just like, what?
That's why they shoot a lot of movies there, right? Because they can flip it to make it look like
exactly.
Yeah, it's like tropical.
They got a lot of options when they film out there. What do you think about like the Montreal music scene? Like, I think it's like very community based. You know? And
mostly hip hop.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like comment on the hip hop.
Oh,
I'm curious about
the only thing that is with that, I haven't infiltrated that scene yet, right? So a lot of my, I'm still pretty well rooted and immersed in the hardcore scene, and like a lot of my pull is still based around that genre of music. Like a lot of my fans from previous projects are still loyal, so they'll still like keep following like my current musical endeavors. But as far as the actual like hip hop scene goes here, I have like yet to infiltrate that. So I haven't played any shows or anything like that. The only like people I'm really, really aware of, like the Posters and Hustler and shit. Like I fuck with those guys. They're all hip hop. I think that's the only thing is like it's a bit harder to infiltrate because a lot of like the bigger hip hop coming out of Montreal is obviously francophone, which is dope. There's like this
when you listen to Hustler and the Posters, you almost don't think that they're from Montreal.
Yeah, that's
in a
it.
way, it's kind of.
And then they're just like from like around, it's not. But like there are some dope like French hip hop crews. Like I used to work with this guy. He's in this group called Les Tres Salopards.
Okay.
And they're sick. It's like a group of like 13 French rappers, like almost like a very like Wu-Tang-esque project. Not so much like in sound, but just like in just like the way that they go about like having a multitude of rappers on every track, and they do it well. So that shit's dope. But I
never really got into French.
Dead Obies too.
They're actually pretty good.
They're probably like one of the groups on top of French rap
Yeah.
right now, and they've been like doing some pretty like cool shit.
And they're cool too because they mix in English and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they definitely.
Well, that's pretty much like Montreal and that shit.
Yeah,
it's
that
very half English, half French.
Yeah, it's
like
very telling
slang.
to the language we kind of adopt here, right?
Like that guy we met the other day who's like, yeah, I don't speak English, I don't speak French. We're like, well, what do you speak? He's like, well, I'm Parisian. And we're like, okay, like, but like, do you understand French? He's like, I don't understand the French language, like in Montreal. Like,
it's
so
a whole
sloppy.
other thing. It's like
thing,
different. Yeah, a lot of people
okay,
from like
enough.
France don't fuck with the Montreal French. Like, it's a whole other thing.
Definitely.
Down upon us.
But I'm excited. Like, I feel like it's just I really am trying to like build my repertoire enough to like have music that people will fuck with, so that like they'll wanna play shows and work. So I'm like slowly dipping my toes into that pool.
And I think too, for like getting shows, it's a bit tougher in hip hop because I feel like with bands, you can kind of get gigs without being known. With hip hop, it's like you kind of have to have a buzz started.
Yeah.
It has to like make sense for you to be on the bill.
That's it.
Even like when we were like trying to book shows, like we got like some pretty cool gigs, like one through
he opened up for Cam Hunter from Down with Webster,
and even and like that was like
300 people,
which was cool. Nice. But in terms of like you gotta like send out the email, you gotta really pitch your music.
For sure.
They want to make sense.
We had like the crowd probably going more than the other artists.
That's crazy. It was a good time. It was
I'd have like the crowd. I'd be like this. I go like this, and I go. Ooh.
No way. Which venue?
It was crazy. Sal Rosa.
Oh fuck yeah!
I got to play a show in Quebec City 3 years ago, which was like way more than I expected. I was like direct supporting for a hip hop artist who's from the States, and we got to play for like a full like gymnasium. We had at least 800 kids there.
What the fuck?
Which is like I stepped onto that like not expecting it at all. So that was probably like the craziest gig I've ever played.
Yeah, those are the best feeling when you step out and there's just a sea of people and you're like, oh fuck, and you just vibe so hard. You just feel that collective energy and it just like flows,
I remember when you guys opened up for Protest the Hero.
Yeah. Like
abandon
so
all
many
ships.
People were there.
Yeah, what was that experience like? Because that probably was your first taste of like a fucking crowd.
That was a good 1,500, 1,000?
Something like that.
It was a huge venue.
It went out to a point where I couldn't see the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
Right? That feeling is something that I've like. I feel like that was really when my like musical ability started budding in like a way that I could really try and make something of it.
Was that your biggest show?
To date, I would say that those are probably two of like the biggest shows I've played. I've played like shows like half big as that, and even then that's still like fucking dope. But the feeling that gives you is really like is incomparable to.
It's crazy.
You guys went on tour too, right? You did a few shows at one point.
With them, not so much. With like those earlier bands, I pretty much. Like,
no, I mean with Red Skies.
Oh, Red Skies, yeah, that we did. That was the first time I ever toured.
What was like the weirdest show you ever had? Like
the weirdest show. Okay, I have a hilarious. So when we were in Red Skies, like we went to play this festival called the East Coast Awakening Festival in like the middle of like Nowheresville, New Brunswick, like in a fucking forest. And like we get there and like the organization was so bad. And there was barely anybody there, and like they had like a rave there recently, so they just left the stage. So we played on this like rave stage, and it had like 2 levels. There was like all these like drunk like New Brunswick kids there, and
oh
like
my god,
it was just like a whole weekend, and a couple of friends' bands were there, so we were like all just getting like we're just partying and shit in the middle of the woods. And at night it was so dark that you could like see the Milky Way in the sky.
Holy shit!
So it was like, despite the festival itself not working out too well,
yeah,
it was still dope because they had like Silverstein play the festival.
Oh no!
There was maybe like 50 kids, and Silverstein just got like drunk and just like played like a request set, and like we were all like moshing around on the stage with them and shit.
They lost. They must have lost so much money that festival.
That guy, yeah,
just to get Silverstein.
He got fucked. He had to like declare bankruptcy.
Oh yeah, easily.
But he fucked himself over.
Easily.
Like he, I don't think he was expecting how hard it would be. It was like a good effort, and like it ended up being fun despite like little hiccups. That's definitely like the funniest show. Like aside from like one time played in Oshawa at this like small fucking spot that like it was like 20 kids there, and they were all like pissed drunk, and like they loved it though. We weren't expecting anybody to come.
Yeah, that's sick though. Like those little shows are like way more fun.
Well, sometimes intimate shows end up being even more fun than
get more
it's funny.
experience.
It's funny though that you bring up Silverstein. Like one time I got to meet them in like the most random way. I'm standing outside the venue, don't have a ticket, and I'm just standing there next to the bus. Boom! They hit me right in the head with the friggin' bus door, and they come out and they're like, "Oh, sorry, dude." And I got to meet them all. I was like, "Holy shit, dude! This is so crazy." And I liked them back then too.
Yeah, that's it. It was so funny seeing like having back in the day we used to go see them a lot, right? And then like seeing them in that type of situation for years of like not even like thinking about that band, and then just like being in that situation was too fucking.
Yeah,
like,
so crazy.
That's definitely like a solid.
You got to like chill with Silverstein, like I guess at that.
Yeah, like a little bit. We talked to it. We shot the shit a bit, but like I mainly just hung out with like my band at the time and a couple of the homies bands that are around.
Yeah.
But I haven't really done any like hip hop shows aside from like one that we did at like just this like fundraiser that we do every year at the community center in our neighborhood.
Cool.
Like raise money for like less fortunate people. So that's the only time I ever played like a show with hip hop. But that was more in a it was more a situation where it's like a lot of friends and stuff. So I haven't quite like we've been saying, like, I'm really trying to like build a repertoire.
But don't you have one coming up soon?
Yeah, I am gonna do a quick performance at the Bucket Fest at Piranha Bar.
Cool.
August 26th.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah, that's like Bucket List Music Review's great review website, and they were really the ones who helped Red Skies get to like a point of notoriety that we probably couldn't have done on our own because they saw something in us, and they would come to our shows often and review, and we ended up befriending a lot of the people, the organizers. So they did Bucket Fest for the first time last year, and Red Skies headline, and it was a fucking blast. So this year, Liz, like the main Bucket List person, she
shout out to Liz.
Yeah, big shout outs to Liz. She's dope. She's like doing good things for the music community.
Definitely.
And what was cool is that they do a compilation of different styles of music. So it's not like just hip hop. It's not like just metal or anything like that. What I really like about that festival is it like allows people to come together and like check out a whole roster of different styles of music.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so I'm just doing like a quick spot on that because they were just like, hey, we want you to be involved. I was like, well, you guys know I'm doing this now, so let's try it out. So that'll be like my first like official show. And then hopefully like by then I'll start releasing my shit like extensively once I have a little bit like a little bit of a people noticing that I'm doing this outside of my my Instagram and shit.
It's
like
gonna
that.
be interesting to see your evolution as an artist because I've watched you since when did we meet? Like you're maybe 15, 16?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you've changed so much, dude. Like
there's been a lot of blossoming going on in that respect.
It's good.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a vocalist, right? And it's cool to like just transition to something that's relative but also extremely different, right? Like a lot of the techniques I use in screaming still apply to like hip hop with breath control and like just the only thing is you're way more vulnerable. That's the thing about hip hop is like you're saying words that people completely understand.
It's like really like they're going into your mind. And a lot of times in hardcore and stuff, like Most people just like how it sounds.
Yeah.
They don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah, you have to really look into it.
I remember like some of your lyrics with 4 Feet and Fur, like they were pretty deep too.
Yeah, I always try to write from like a deeper perspective.
Yeah,
that's just always been my style.
Well, definitely with your hip hop, you really see that for sure.
Yeah,
that,
depending on like what the project is.
You got that like sit down, smoke, and think type of rap.
Yeah,
you know?
straight up. That kind of like
that's cool.
Like that's definitely the type of vibe I'm.
Is there any like styles of like rap that you want to experiment with?
Yeah, well, like when I was talking about earlier, like when I make music with my homie Crew, who big shout out to Crew, he's dope as fuck. You should check out his SoundCloud. That's the only shit I have released right now is music with Crew.
Who posted in the?
Yeah, it's like I think is what you find is SoundCloud. But yeah, when I make music with him, it's really it's a bit more contemporary. He allows me to do a more like modern version of popular hip hop and stuff, still with my own flavor infused, but it's like it kind of like I kind of step away from the original like depth that I'm always going for with my personal stuff, because it's not always about you, right? Like you want to give the people something they can fuck with.
That's it.
And give them a somebody like I think like somebody like Mac Miller is like a huge inspiration as far as like the way I want to go about my music. He is just like a DIY champion when it comes to like he's a producer, singer, fucking rapper and stuff, and he makes all types of projects. You have like shit like his Delusional Thomas like side projects where it's just like this fucked up death rap with the voice pitched up, and you got his Mac Miller shit that like over the course of a while, like at first it was kind of that frat rap,
jazzy fucking
Larry Lovestein, and he just does the production like Larry Fisherman. He's nuts, man, and I think it's cool to not like make it so that you only make one style.
Yeah.
Like so far, I've only been doing like more introspective depth shit, but then I like go with my homie Crew and we do more like pump up jams that like are more like crowd.
I think in order to be successful in like any type of music or anything really in life, you can't pigeonhole yourself and stay into like one type of vibe. You always have to know a little bit about everything, even if you don't fuck with it, even if you don't like it. Like I originally was like, okay, trap's okay, but like then this like new age trap, like for example Suicide Boys or Lil Pump and stuff like that, I was like judging. I was like, I don't know, man, I don't know about this. But you kind of gotta like think about it from like the sense like this is a new type of music. Like maybe you don't like it, but it's definitely something that people fuck with.
I respect their hustle,
and it's gonna keep changing. It's gonna keep.
Some evolving. Of them are just fucking ridiculous. Like I'm sorry, I don't respect Lil Pump as a person. I don't know the guy, but. I don't know, his vibe is just off for me.
Honestly, there's a lot of music that's coming out now that just makes you think you can get away with a lot of shit. You can literally, you can do it. Like I said, I've always said there's a fan base for everything.
No doubt, for sure, and it's been proven, especially now with like
up in taste.
Because now it's like with the internet, and, like social media's reach. It's like you can explode onto the
crazy
scene.
Shit going on.
I do get what people kind of complain about with this thing, in like the sense like you're not really staying true to like the culture in a sense, because like honestly I watch like for example Lil Pump's like live set and it's garbage. Like he just says Lil Pump 1,000 times and just jumps around. Like I see why it's popular for like younger people. It's like, okay, I could be this guy. And it's like it's more obtainable,
Well, because the age factor like too, right? He's he's young.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, like if I was a hip hop artist or anything, I want to give it my all. I'd want to be like the best like live. I'd want to be like
for me
the best on everything. Like
as far as like
I just don't understand that.
Yeah, for my performance and all that, I'm definitely like way more about giving the people what they deserve and shit. But I mean, at the same time, I could like try and talk a lot of shit, but these guys are like. They're gaining something from what they're doing, right? I respect I don't really like know much about like Lil Pump in particular.
He's just a perfect example of like this like reckless teenager who got rap money at a young age and he's just
that's the thing. Some
doing
of the music,
way too many drugs.
The music, it's like
bad influence.
You don't,
it's on the youth.
Won't always like fuck with all the music, but it's like you respect the hustle, It's like, because it's like you have to give props. If he's a 16-year-old kid out there on the road getting bands of cash. To play shows, he's essentially winning.
Clearly,
he's doing what most
plus,
artists want.
I never want to be like like our parents, for example. Our parents listen to our music and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like when I was your age.
When I was your, and then like their parents listen to the Beatles and like, "What the fuck is this?" I always want to stay current. I always want to like kind of like have an open mind when it comes to music and
I always give everything a shot.
I also don't even want to like involve myself in any type of drama. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not about like
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
shit. Like just because
Yeah.
I obviously have my own tastes, and I don't necessarily fuck with like some of the more contemporary music, but you know, at the same time, it's easy to just like ignore stuff that, you know, not like ignore, but it's like there's just like it sucks when you feel like overtly bitter because it's just like that's, you know, like it's funny, like my homie, the beat maker and rapper Sui Generous, he's like, yeah, shout out to Sui Generous as well. That's a dope homie. If you check him out on SoundCloud, he's got like 3 DIY albums that he's put out already.
He's
and
hustling.
he just, yeah, he fucks with that shit so hard. He loves like Lil Pump, Lil Peep, like all those dudes. And he always fucks with me for being like slightly bitter about like that style of contemporary music. He's always like, dude, like you could talk shit, but like we gotta hustle like them, or else we're gonna be sitting here like, you know.
They're on the road, right?
They're
doing what they're making.
Although I do not necessarily fuck with like the negative influence of, because a lot of young people are listening to this shit, right? And I think that's the only like majorly negative aspect to it, is if you're being like, oh, you know, doing Xanax is the best and all this, like
honestly, that the whole Xanax culture shit is getting out of control.
It is dangerous, you know. I understand. I mean, I've fucked with drugs before. Like, I'm not standing here being like, oh, I've never done a drug in my life, but I'm not standing around trying to promote that lifestyle, because it's not.
Especially to like the fan base that he has, they're all like underage, all
easily influenced, right? I mean, I do mention, you know, drugs in my music and shit, but I try not to like highlight it as like something that you should do, because when you start doing drugs, it's the fucking best, right? And then when you keep doing drugs, it starts to not become the best, and
exactly.
You don't want people to like go down that road just because they're
it's
influenced,
really like,
right?
Exactly.
Like some people can handle their drugs in the sense like they won't get super addicted. They can do it once in a while.
Yeah.
Then other people have addictive personalities, and you really want to be someone who like kind of gets that person on that path. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
it,
do you want to be an influence in that?
Yeah. But I think that's also, I guess, the problem with being super young and infiltrating a certain scene, is that you end up, you know, getting sucked in by a certain like aesthetic and stuff, and it almost doesn't become your choice after a while.
Like I watched some interviews with him and some kind of like live tour shit, and swear to God, dude, he just pops his Xanny and he's drinking lean all day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, these
he's like, I'm on five Xannies, like.
That's like scary, you know?
Fuck,
like,
dude.
Yeah,
like there's actually like a part in like the footage, he's just passed out on the couch and he has to go on stage, and it's like, and then he's like, I don't even remember doing the show.
That's
like,
fucked.
what the fuck, dude? Like, you're 16 years old or 17 years old, like, chill, bro.
And especially if he's fortunate enough to have a consistent career and a long career, it's like,
yeah,
how long is he going to be doing that until something serious happens?
You can die, right? Like that's the main.
And like,
you know,
like I was saying, like the ignorance of him, like he's in the crowd. And he just kicks one of his fans right in the face. Like the guy was talking shit probably, but he just kicked his, like.
That's what I noticed about that new wave, like Suicide Boys and shit. Puya, if there's they deal with like fucking hecklers
like
on
their
site.
own security guards.
Yeah, they literally will like jump in crowd and start laying shit down.
There's videos of like Puya and like Fat Nick and Ghostfame just like railing on a dude who tried to fuck with them at their live show, and I'm like.
But I will say, if you are a heckler that tries to make a move on stage, you deserve to get fucking rock bottom.
Yeah,
I don't fuck with that. People try to fuck with my live show. I'm like, this is a performance. This is like my art. This is what I do.
You do not come on the stage. You stay in the crowd.
Unless you make, you know, stage dive calls. Like if there's like, you know,
if you're inviting it, then it's acceptable.
That's different.
But now everybody, like every artist, if you get into a fight on, like at a show or something, they're all trying to top each other. That's what I find.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh, who can get like more of a crazy show going? And
but that's I'm not about that. Like, no. Like I don't really want to bring like a violent, like I want to bring an aggressive nature to like having a good time, in the sense that like.
But it's kept all in the music.
Well,
yeah.
See, your hip hop music is like, I don't see it being like that type where like the violent shit.
Way
like
more introspective.
The trap shit, like it's obviously.
They have a different upbringing than I do. Right? I can't talk shit and claim that I'm from like, you know, like the mean streets of a certain place. Like I haven't always had like the best luck in my life coming up, like in you know, just like in all types of living situations. But you know, like I'm pretty thankful for like, you know, my mom and how she like, you know, helped me have like a pretty good life. And some people, you know, they just don't have that. And obviously like if you have music that kind of is talking about that, it's just, you know, an influence and atmosphere that they've been brought up in that I just like can't relate to.
So,
that too. So it's hard. Like at the same time, like I can't. Like I feel like I'll really like I do feel like a sense of judgment toward that sort of music, but at the same time, like I can't even like come close to relating to how it must be like growing up in like a culture of like just everybody's fucked on drugs and everybody's dying, and you have no, you know, influences that are helping you. So it's like really like this conflicting, you know, a lot of those rags to riches stories are like respectable, but at the same time, do you not want to like use your fame as like a platform for inspiration?
Yeah, exactly. You kind of want
like,
people to change as opposed to like.
Also too, and like even in the like the subject matter of their songs is talking about a lot of this shit, and people get mad sometimes, but at the same time, it's like they're talking about what they went through, right?
Well, that's their reality, right?
If they're gonna keep it real, it might be shit that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But they're at least keeping it true to themselves, you know. But it also comes down to like, are they speaking about it, or are they like actually like trying to sell it? You know what I mean?
That's it.
So
sometimes too, it's an act, right? You know,
yeah. Well, sometimes people just talk shit.
But I could say the whole Zanny thing, the way that I've heard a lot of these new wave SoundCloud rappers talking about Zanny, they're glorifying it. They fucking they're trying to push it and saying it's fucking cool.
It's funny, we were talking about Suicide Boys, but I was watching an interview with them, and actually the one of them, like the guy with the deeper voice, he has like a drug problem, right?
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He's like, I used to listen to Lil Wayne, and like Lil Wayne kind of like glorified drugs and made me start doing like drugs and stuff.
Well,
and it's fucked because like you can literally pinpoint.
Alright, so we apologize. We had a little bit of a technical situation there.
The camera just stopped recording randomly.
Shit happens, you know. We're on the fly. We're shooting this ourselves. We got no
camera up today.
Yeah, no producers with us.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. You know, we had some good conversation. We got to talk about what you have going on in music, your transition, and everything you have coming up. I think we're gonna play it out now with some footage of some videos that you got coming up.
Yeah,
and your trip to Vancouver.
Yeah, what we did over there and stuff.
Yeah.
And basically, I guess like over the course of the summer, I'm gonna slowly start releasing shit. But if you ever want to keep up like with me just spitting quick verses, I'm always trying to post as much as possible on Instagram, Atlas.Emery.
We'll link the socials in the description.
Yeah, definitely. He's got some crazy shit. And like, you know, like some days like you're mentioning, you're like, yeah, I'm not even in the mood to do this, but you push it, man.
Well, that's like we were just talking about earlier. It's like despite whatever you're doing, if you got like a good hustle, in this modern world, that's what it's all about. Because with the rise of like social media and shit, man, like you got to be on top of it.
Yeah,
and it's not always your choice to produce.
You don't want to leave your fans kind of like waiting for more.
Straight up. So you know, I've been compiling for a while, but it's gonna start to come out like as soon as I can make it.
So we're gonna leave you with that footage. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. What else do we have? Twitter, all the social. We got all the socials. The Strathdee Boys. We'll put the links in the description, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Atlas Emery.
Take care.
Peace.